Okay, so hopefully that's recording. Appreciate you guys joining in. First thing I wanted to do, everybody should be able to see my screen that I have. That has on the two pages actually on the right is your admins for each area. It has your name, your email address, and your phone number. Now, if you want me to use a different phone number, if you have a direct line or direct number, these are pretty much just numbers to career centers. Um, just put it in the chat, your phone number that you want me to use, and I'll change it. What I'm planning to do is to get this right here out as the policy. Stephen's going to review it, make sure that he approves it. Once he approves it, hopefully we'll get the whole policy out by this afternoon. So it will be out, sent out to everyone, kind of describe what we're doing and how this process is going to be working. So, and yeah, thanks, Summer. I can use extensions to the numbers if you add it on here because this will be in the policy, and this will be how staff in your area contact you. Okay, so you guys will be the admins, and you'll be over it and in charge. You should have gotten an email from me yesterday on what your password is and your username. I hope you got that, and I hope you've practiced a little bit. Also, over the weekend, you should have gotten an email from me or from TapDance where we've run a couple of tests, and you've gotten the results of those tests and those reports. So hopefully that came in for you as well. And what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and get started. For some of you, this may be the first time. I would encourage you. We don't get charged for how many tests we do. We just get charged for the system. So if you want to run a sample test, use somebody in your office or something, feel free to. It's not going to hurt anything at all. So first thing we want to do is to take you to the website for TapDance. And I think some area managers are on here as well, upper staff. So I wanted to kind of go over the tap dance system with them. Questions have been asked about what's all available for this. So Tap Dance Live, this will be the website where you'll start your account for the admins. And it also, this website, it offers what products that they have. Of course, Tap Dance has the basic skills testing, keyboarding skills, Microsoft Office. Um, it also has spelling tests, grammar tests, math tests, filing tests, coding tests, sorting tests, and of course the time typing test is what we'll be doing, 10 key test or data entry test. And from my understanding, um, we've paid for this. Any of these tests that you guys feel that we might want to use, let me know, and we'll work towards moving towards that. Especially use their admins, you'll still be the admins, but we can do any of these pretty much uh, tests that's available on this website. So when you get a chance, you can kind of go through the website and look, see what interests you, and make recommendations accordingly. So, now, as admins, you guys will be responsible for testing for your workforce area. Um, Heather and I will be the backup. So when someone has a test, the policy will tell them to contact their workforce admin. If they can't get in touch with their admin, then they can reach out to Heather and myself, and one of us will set them up in case you're out on leave or busy, whatever. So what we're going to do now is just kind of go into my account, and you can see here where I've logged in under Jan's account, Jan Howard, and you can see that Jan's email, so the admin's email will be on here, my email, and Heather's email. What this means is we'll all be receiving the reports, all three of us, on any typing test that's completed. Once we get the reports, we'll review it, and then we'll get it back to you guys. And you can go ahead and then enter the scores accordingly. Okay. So the menu right here on the left is pretty simple. There's nothing really difficult. The setup wizard is which you really won't have to worry about because the typing tests have already been set up for you. Everything's been set up. and it's the same for everybody. There are actually two sets of typing tests. There's the initial typing test, which has two tests, and then there's the retry test, which is an additional two tests. What we'll do is we'll do a setup for that. Well, the first thing, because it takes a little bit, we want to do is you have a person who contacts you and needs to schedule someone for a typing test. What you would do is you'd go into the distribution wizard, okay, and you'll see where the packages are already here. We've created two packages, the initial typing test, and then they can come back after 30 days and they can do the retest. Both packages are 5-minute typing tests. So for this person, we're going to set up the typing test here. And for example, for Jan, we'll just say that maybe Opelika called or another career center and wanted to set up Kevin Kidd for a typing test. Okay. So what you'll do here is you'll enter the test, you'll go to your next step, and then this is the email that'll be sent to the person who requests the test. Okay, so it'll look kind of like this: say, "Dear test taker, please use the following URL," and this is just that in code about what the test will be and it'll look like. You can go in here and alter it any way that you want to, make any changes that you need. But this is kind of how the default looks like, and it'll be the same for everybody. So it'll just have your admin name, and then when that way they can receive the email, they'll know who it's coming from. So I'm fine with this, and I'm going to go ahead and move forward to the next step. Now here is where you list the email address for your test takers. Now what this means for you guys is, let's say Kevin Kidd contacted you and has somebody that they want to set up for testing. So what you do is you want to send this test to the proctor, and Kevin Kidd is the proctor. So say he's setting up a test for Heather Hall. So you're going to send it to Kevin's email. And that's the only one who gets it. That's all who needs it. You can always add other email addresses accordingly, but pretty much it's just going to be for one person. Okay, so next step is if you wanted to save this email address into your system, you can. I don't never really see a reason for this, but if that's available for you to do that. So I'm gonna hit no, and I'm gonna go back to the next step, and then here's the message that they're going to receive. Okay. So if you've got everything like you want it, don't need to have to go back. It's 100% complete. Hit finish. And then it will tell you, congratulations, you have sent out your invitations. TapDance will send an email with test instructions to Kevin Kidd at alcc.alabama.gov. Thank you for registering with us, TapDance Live Assessment Team. And I'll keep an eye on my email letting you know when that gets here. So what we're going to look at here next is the test codes. What this means is the two tests that are given and how often they've been taken as far as a reset or set. So you can see where I've already went in and done the initial test, the initial package. It's been used one time for session, and that's where I've used it. The retest has not been used yet. Okay. View test takers. This is where you can actually get your information from your previous test. If you go here, click your name. Of course, your name will be here, whoever the admin are. And then right here's the packages for Central Alabama Works. And you can see here's the two packages, the typing time test and the retest. Okay. So I'm going to click here, click go, and it's going to give me tests that have been taken. Okay. So here was the test that was sent on Saturday. Most of you guys did this test just as just checking to make sure that it was received. And also here is the test that I have done. It's not finished, but I can click here and it will give you the test information. Now, once you get finished, it should give you the scores. So, back here, go. And here's one where I took this morning at 8:34, and just to practice. And I wanted to look at the test. Of course, I could click here, and this is just computer information. It's basically in code about the test that was done. But if you want to see the report from this test, you could go back to view test takers, go and report here, and then just click zoom in, and you can see the reports. Right here under instrument reports, there's my 2 tests that I've taken. Test 1, you can click, and then it will give you my test score. And this is kind of what the report looks like. Now, what you're looking for on this report, and you can review this on yours, but you're basically looking, let's say, for example, the ASA is looking at, let me get this here. For an ASA 1 in Alabama, requires typing net of 40 words per minute with 10 or fewer errors. Okay, so you would get your scores right here. Typing net of 40 words per minute. So my test, my net speed is 23 words per minute. So I'm not going to make this score, and I'm not going to pass. And my errors, of course, now it's 4. So I have the errors, but I don't have the net speed. So I would have to retest again. My accuracy is 82%. And this is where you get your scores for the positions. And to you can share these reports. Again, the person who gives a test will get a copy of this automatically, but you'll have it as well. So you can make yourself come familiar with it, but you can go in here and you can see your test scores. Number of errors, 5, and then how many words I typed, and how many words is actually on here is 409, so 300 seconds. So that's kind of what the report looks like. And then, of course, the second one's right here. Now, if I want to bring up my email, I'm going to slide this over and bring up my email where I've asked to give a test. So here's the email I received. So Jan basically sent me the information to do a TapDance test. Now, the thing you want to really pay attention to is your testing code. That's this code right here. So I can take this email and I can copy that code, click, and then I'll go into where my test is. Now, there's 2 ways you can get into your test. Most of the people will just go through the email, but you can also administer tests now on if you're an admin and you're in your account, and you get pretty much the same thing. It's the very same thing. It's just a different way to go to it. But for people who are taking a test in your area, they'll have instructions to go and click that. Once they do that, they can enter their code that you sent them, click login. Okay. And then this brings us up right here. This is the screen that they'll start with the typing test. Please note down your test resume code is this code here. If interrupted, please use the test code instead of the test code at login to pick up where you left off. So if someone's taking a test or something happened, this is the code you could get back in to go back into the test. Okay. So this is pretty simple from here on out. I'm giving the test to Heather. So all I got to do is put in her first name and last name. press to continue. You want your screen in full screen mode. Make sure that whatever testing that they're doing is in full screen mode. Also, make sure the computer you're using for the test does not have applications like Grammarly. Make sure that the spell check's not on. Anything like that would be a hindrance to them when doing the test. So just go here and then click Begin Instructions. And then here is the actual test itself. It kind of gives instructions to the people that's taking it. You're about to take a time typing test. Do not add spaces or incorrectly capitalize words. During the test, the screen will display instructions, but you can read all the information here. It pretty much tells them how to do the test. And if you guys have ever give the old TapDance test, you're really going to like this because this test is a whole lot easier to give. And I've had some people who's taken this test. They've really been happy with it. So this will be a good test. Now, this test does offer a warm-up that you can use, and it's very similar to the test. The warm-up is no more than 5 minutes, but they can stop at any time or go back and go through it any time. So you can click warm-up, and this brings up the test. And what you do is pretty much just type from the information that is above. So you can go and just do a sentence, made a major, and then just go on and on and on and on. But it tells you how much time you've got, how much time you've taken. You have up to 5 minutes. You can do it for 5 seconds. You cannot. They can do it, not do it at all. Doesn't really matter. When you want to go back, click back to instructions, and if they wanted to do the warm up again, they can do it one more time. So that's how the warm up works for them to do the test. When they do the test, you click the Start Instrument button to begin the test. And this will be listed on a policy, but as soon as they click the Start Instrument, they need to be ready to take the test because that's when the test starts. So click the Start Instrument. You can see the time is going right here. It's basically the same thing as far as the test. Just do a sentence here. Just purchased. New building for businesses. Okay. So, and when you do the test and you're typing, when you get down to the lower parts of the test, like here, the meeting rooms, and the company also needs, the system will automatically move up for you. And it won't move until you get to that part. When you get to that part, then this will automatically scroll up. You don't have to use the any of this right here, and it won't let you until you actually get to that part. But once you do, then you do that. So I've done this test. Let's say I'm finished. If you finish before the 5 minutes, you can click here to finish. If you do the 5 minutes, it will automatically show you it's finished. So for this, do it as finished. It says, congratulations, Heather Hall, you completed this test. In order to complete this testing session, you're required to take another test. Please click buttons below to move on to the next set of instructions. So if you do the instructions, it'll bring up the same thing. But notice it says version 2. You get 2 typing tests for each test completed. So you can go to that and you can do the second typing test if you wish. If you do 1 typing test, then it will only send a report for 1. If you do 2, it will do the report for 2. Simple as that. Most people like to do 2, but they don't have to. Okay, so I'm going to move this over, and then I'm going to go back into my original account, and I'm gonna go back to my home. And now I want to look at my test takers, and I want to go into my typing test, click go. And now you'll see here's Heather Hall. She's passed. And I want to look at Heather's score. And here's her test that she's done. Okay, so if I want to view the English version, but you can see Heather's score is she's done 9 words a minute, no errors. And everybody who knows Heather knows she types faster than that. But that's just kind of a quick example of the score. It gives you the actual test. Anything that's indicated as an error will be on here. Of course, there's no errors, 9 words per minute. And then this is Heather's score as far as the typing test and what she's done. Now, Heather can come back in 30 days to do the second retest. But if Heather says, okay, I want to do this one test and then I want to practice some before I come back to do the next one, that's perfectly fine. They can do that. You probably want to save the code, and then you can get back on and create and do the second test. All right, so now I want to go into my email. You can just see where my report generator popped up on my screen. And so let me get my email over here, back over. And let's see. And you can see here is the report generator. And this is where TapDance time typing 1 report for Heather Hall is attached. You can click here. And here's Heather's test. So it's real simple on this part. Now, you as an admin will get this. I should get a copy of this, and so should Heather. It'll be up to you as the admin to get it to the person's giving the test. So if Jan got that, she would need to email me that information and get that score to me where I could get the score entered in Alabama Works. Okay. Now, if you're in Alabama Works, just since we've got you guys on, first off, is there any questions on the TapDance on the system? I don't see any hands raised or anybody saying anything, so I assume there's no questions. It's just like any other computer program. The more you do it, the more you get familiar with it, the easier it'll be for you to do. And I encourage you to kind of play with it and do a few tests, make sure everything works accordingly. If it don't, contact me or Heather, and we'll be glad to assist. Now, as far as Alabama Works, just going over this with you, entering the typing test, let's say Cody Butler here is the person that we want to do. Of course, anybody that does a typing test in Alabama Works, their information must be updated. They must have a Wagner Pizer account. The code for the typing test is, I'll just get it up here. I believe it's 106. Wagner Pizer. Oh, here it is. Let's see. Here it is. I'm sorry. It's 130 proficiency testing. So this is the service you'll enter for the typing test. Okay. Okay. And what you'll also do once you enter those services, you'll go into assessments, other assessments, and you'll add the typing test score on here. You can put today's date. You can put the total words per minute. It will be the TapDance typing test. Comments, I would encourage you to enter the total words, the errors, and any other information you feel is necessary. And of course, you would save the report in the documents file under Wagner Pizer. Okay, does anybody have any questions? We'll go ahead and open the floor for questions. Anybody have anything? Okay, Jasmine has a question. Is the typing test supposed to give suggestions? Let's see. Get on the chat. Is the typing test supposed to give suggestion words? No. And that's where you'll remove your stuff off the computer, any kind of spell check, anything like that, any kind of grammar check. You definitely want to make sure that that's off. Okay, Jan, you have a question?
Is it okay if I turn my mic on to ask this question?
I'm sorry, Jan, what did you say?
I'm going to turn my mic on to ask this question instead of typing it in. Is that okay?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, either way, so that's good.
Right. Now, we were talking about the code that like Heather was given at the top of her test. And does she need to remember that code if she's going to retest, or is that something we remember? Or is it located here in the system where I can get back to get that code to get her back in?
Yeah, I would probably create a folder, a TapDance.
You would, I'm sorry, my watch was talking to me.
Okay. I would probably create a TapDance folder, and I would put any emails or anything like that in that folder. The code that will be given will be, of course, sent to the test taker, but you'll have a copy of it.
Is there something else I can help with?
I would definitely keep that email in case that code is needed again. Now, if you do a retest, you'll get a different code.
Oh, okay, a different code.
Yeah, because you'll ask for, because there's 2 packages. So each package has a test. So if you got somebody who does the first package and they only do 1 test, then that code should still work for the second test. But if they're doing the second package, and they will start over and they'll have a whole new code.
Okay, thank you. Now, this is going to be kind of a general question. I'm not understanding. Will we have, I've got 4 computers in my typing test room. Will I put 4 people in there at a time? Will they have to come in the office? Once we get them set up, is that still going to be the same?
Yeah, that'll be in the policy, but they have to be proctored. All typing tests must be proctored, just like it has been for staff. Now, of course, we don't use the Office of Courts anymore. Pretty much, it's just for state personnel and then for local employers. But yeah, they'll be proctored, and once they come in, now the trick is going to be, instead of having all this at your computer, it's all in the cloud now, or it's all online. So if you're a person who's coming in and you're giving a test, you're going to probably have to print out that code, and you're going to have to go to the website. So you may want to create the TapDance Live website on your desktop and save it on your desktop. We'll have it, and you'll be able to complete that.
Okay.
I would definitely do that, and then that way, when you come in, you can enter the code, and they should be able to test from there.
Okay, and you were saying that, so am I going to be the administrator for the whole Central Alabama offices? So all the offices would be contacting me within the central system to set up these tests?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's all you'll cover, because that's all you're assigned. So another area would need to cannot contact you. They can only contact myself, Heather, or the admin that's assigned. So if you guys get a call from another area, let's say Opelika calls Summer, wanting to do a test because I can't get in touch with Jen. Well, Summer needs to tell them, no, can't do that because I don't have the privileges, that you need to call Kevin or Heather where they can go in under Jan's account and set them up.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, Jim, you got a question?
Yes, I had a couple. What's the purpose of two tests, test 1 and test 2?
The purpose of the two tests is the policy in the past has indicated that we give them a second chance. The second test is up to the test taker to give. If the person took the first test and maybe they was in a room with other people, loud, errors, something come up, it's the policy will explain that the second test is optional and available for the test taker if they want to give a second test, but not necessary. Now, in the past, some people have used the second test when they've just scored so low that on the first test, if they really need to practice, they tell them to come back and they can do the second test before the 30 days are up. So
Okay.
it's really an option for the test taker, but not for the applicant.
Understand. That answers my question.
Okay.
Question number 2 also.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have another question or is that it?
No, that's it. I was going to
Okay.
ask if the proctor was able to give a test within that 30-day waiting period, but you've answered that already.
Yeah, the policy is similar to the old policy. There's not much difference. So, it's nothing's really changed on the policy. You'll see it's just updated. It hasn't been updated since Sylvia Williams was in charge. So we kind of updated a little bit, adding the virtual aspect, which is what we're doing now. Something that just needed to be done. So good questions. Okay, does anybody else have any questions? Okay.
Yeah, I have one. I'm sorry. This
Yeah,
is
Larry,
Larry.
go ahead.
Say if they took a test here in Dothan and say they didn't do too well, can they go to a different career center and take it the same day?
Well, the policy is going to show that the very first thing that a career center person should do is to look them up and see if they've taken the test before and when the test has been taken. You can pretty much recognize that by the service. If the proficiency service is entered, then you know they've taken that test on that day. You can also further look on what their score was and if their report has been documented in Alabama Works. So that's something that you really want to do, and you want to look at the case notes. Staff still it's still all about them case notes and services.
Okay.
That's still really important. But if you got someone who scored a 9, they're trying to get this job and they're going to go to another career center. The good thing about this test is it's not in, as far as looking, you guys can find it through the TapDance, but the staff should be able to find it in Alabama Works. Good question. Anybody else have any questions?
So do they need to be registered before they can take this test then, right? Because we need to be able to put the services in. I've
That's
had
correct.
to just walk in, so I just want to make sure before
Yeah,
we.
they have. This is a service we provide. It's a Wagner Pizer service. It's reported in the Pearl. So they'll need to be registered, have updated services, just like the normal services that you would for someone. Case notes. Of course, you don't have to do an IEP because you don't in Wagner Pizer unless it's necessary. Also, the policy will also say that if there's a job order, they need to be referred on that job order. I know Birmingham does a lot for the library typing test, but if there's a job order, they need to be referred on that job order, or a job order needs to be created if that's necessary. Now, for state personnel, you pretty much won't do a job order, but if it's a local employer and you're providing services for them, and they're looking to hire this person, you would need to refer them on that order.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any questions?
Kevin, I've got another one.
Sure.
I think from what I have seen, I'm still going to be entering the test results just like I've done in the past, but you're going to be doing it in AdOL-Works also? Because we're
test
sending the
results-
scores to you?
The test results will be entered by the proctor
Okay,
into Alabama Works. The registration, services, the case notes, a copy of the documents, all that'll be entered by the proctor. You as an admin will only schedule the test for the person. And
okay.
you'll send the proctor the code for that test.
All right, now since I give the typing test here in our office, so I would be considered the proctor there, even
If you're
though
giving- Yeah, if you're
the
giving the
adminis-
test yourself to someone, which most of you are, the admins are from the comprehensive career centers pretty much, to do the typing test themselves. So you'll kind of be doing both roles. You'll be the admin and you'll also be the testing proctor.
okay,
So yeah, in your situation, you'd create the test, you'd give the test and enter that information for the Montgomery Career Center.
okay, thank you.
Sure. Good questions. Any other questions from anybody? And I know this test is not a high demand test and it's not given a lot. That's why we wanted to do the comprehensive career center staff for each area that does the test more than anyone else. So it's always available for you to kind of go through and scan and practice a little bit, do whatever you want to do with it. Nothing on the TapDance site is going to be reported to USDOL or anything like that. This is a site that it's not costing us a lot to do this. And, you guys are very aware how old TapDance is on these old computers. And we needed to move away from that. We need to get something virtual and online and more modern. They've been great to work with us. And as far as the cost, it's doing it this way is about the best way to avoid a high cost for something we don't use a lot. But really appreciate you guys' help. One question that kind of stands out for me if I was looking was that, let's say Jen got promoted or went to another area, all we would do is just assign a new admin for that area. And that's real simple. I can do that. It's not a problem. But really appreciate you guys volunteering for this. And we really need you on this. You guys are doing great. And this is hopefully another step that take the test yourself and see that it's a step in making the typing test much more easier than what we had in the that old TapDance system. I think that people will like it and hopefully their scores will be better and be more accurate. So with that, if there's no other questions, appreciate you guys joining us. The recording should be up in the chat once we end the meeting. Just give it a few minutes, and that way you guys can go back to the recording. And the policy hopefully will be out by the end of the day. We'll send you guys an email on that. If I can help you guys anything, you try to call me anytime, 24/7, or shoot me an email, and try to respond. So with that, good day and appreciate everybody's help more than you know. So enjoy the rest. It's a beautiful day all across the state. Get out when you take a break and go walk around and enjoy it. And other than that, goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.